Cody Vogel here, standing in a canola field at our incubator farm, joined by Mark Carlson and Allison Hebert. Wanted to go through some of the top questions that we get asked when it comes to canola fertility. I guess one of the ones that we get asked the most of is in regards to boron, and I invite you to check out another video that we've done specifically for that nutrient. A little bit goes in depth around the usage and making a plan, so that's a good one. For this one, I think we'll start off with phosphorus. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about phosphorus requirements of canola and what we're experiencing, say, in Western Canada?
Yeah, phosphorus nutrition has been a pretty hot topic from just placement, getting it in the timing. You know, it's an opportunity at seeding time to get it in, but what else can we do? Is it enough for what we're putting at the onset of seeding, and discussion around how can we bridge that gap in season with getting more phosphorus than what we're already putting on in the crop at seeding time. Right.
And just what are some of the removal rates of phosphorus? Like what's a bushel of canola taking up?
So yeah, that's a good one too. On average, we're about 1 pound P2O5 per bushel of canola. And so I mean, if we're targeting 50-60 bushels per acre of canola, this is the reality of what the crop requirements are. So we need to be thinking about that over the course of the growing season, the demand for that nutrient, not just at seeding time.
Yeah, and I would say too, I think we need to be thinking about it as part of a much larger crop plan, trying to pound more phosphorus into the ground in other crops too, just over applying so you get that balance going on there. Another question that comes up a lot, another macronutrient, is sulfur. Sulfur is well known in canola. People are talking about it all the time. I know we talk about it a lot when we talk about our Yara Metis product. Allison, so sulfur requirements in canola, what makes it important?
Sulfur is very important for both pollen or flower formation and also proper seed development. A lot of growers, they might not be concerned about the oil in the seed. That's what they're not getting paid for that. But without that oil, that seed isn't going to develop properly. So that's why it's so important. And really, when we're talking sulfur, we're always talking very familiar with the 7:1 nitrogen to sulfur ratio or the 5:1, depending where you are. And the reason we have those ratios is just to make sure that we are getting enough sulfur in that plant for the canola just to develop properly, and improving our nitrogen use efficiency. The plant can pull in a lot of nitrogen, but without available sulfur, it's not going to be used effectively. So we need to make sure we have available sulfur. And also with sulfur with soil tests, it's very hard to know exactly what you're getting out of your field. It's very patchy naturally, so we know we just need to be applying sulfur every year with all crops, but especially canola.
Yeah, and I think you touched on some very good points there. The one thing I want to add to that is you talk about seed development with sulfur. Ultimately, that's what's going to lead to yield, and the more yield is what the farmers are looking for. So if we can help them increase yield by paying attention to sulfur, it's definitely going to make a difference. Yeah. One other one is potassium. I know I've heard about canola being a good scavenger for potassium, so we may not need to put it down. But I know in a lot of the stuff I've seen, adding more potassium is going to make a world of difference. I think we need to be considering that. Need it in huge amounts, much like nitrogen. So you need to be paying close attention to what's required from a potassium nutrition standpoint. Any last thoughts around this?
No, I think, as you said earlier, make sure you check out the boron plan, especially in canola. Very important nutrient, and it does need to be applied throughout that season. So check out the video.
Great, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.